I'm the Lorax. I speak for the earth. I speak for the earth has no tongue. And I'm telling you, please, at the top of my lungs, let's protect ourselves and all species and our children and grandchildren while we still have time. I want to tell you a story. It's a story that the Nobel laureate Toni Morrison told. A young boy comes up to an elder woman with a bird in his hands, and he says to her, "Can you tell me whether the bird in my hands is alive or dead?" And the woman realizes that the boy's playing a trick on her, because if she says that the bird is dead, then the boy will open his hands and the bird will fly away. And if she says that the bird is alive, then the boy will close his hands and crush the bird. And either way, she's going to be wrong. The boy will be right. So she thinks to herself for a minute, and she says to the little boy, "I don't know whether the bird in your hands is alive or dead. All I know is that the fate of the bird, the life of the bird, is in your hands." And that's our situation today. We have not only one bird species, but all bird species in our hands. And everything hangs in the balance. This is a pregnant, evolutionary moment in human history. I want to share, we're also at the tail end of Yom Yerushalayim. And Rav Kook taught, Yerushalayim v'nekudat Zion b'yichud Torah al shivat ha'enoshi limromre matzavo b'yachas לעמים שכבר נתפלגו וישובו לחטיבה טובה וטהורה. Jerusalem and Zion in particular is a teaching about the return of humankind to its highest status, to the point that all the nations who divided into many streams in the past will return to form one pure and good unit. That's the higher vision of Jerusalem. There's a lot of competing visions of Jerusalem taking place at this moment in the city right now. And Rav Kook says that the Midrash, the Kabbalah, likens Jerusalem to the Garden of Eden. It says actually the Garden of Eden was here in Jerusalem. And Rav Amorai asked, where is the Garden of Eden? It is on earth. And so it says in Genesis, Vayanichehu b'gan Eden lo'ovdahu l'shomra, God placed the human being in the Garden of Eden to serve it and conserve it. And what a better way to serve and conserve the precious garden that we have than to transition immediately to solar energy and to wind energy. So for the next 8 minutes, I want to talk about the religious basis for solar energy. Did you know there's such a thing? Harnessing the sun's light can advance our collective enlightenment. Why is that? Because in the first chapter of Genesis, God says twice that God created luminaries to shed light on the land. The verb that's used is laha'ir. Laha'ir. The root of laha'ir is or, light. Now it's interesting because there's a verb in Hebrew that a lot of people don't know, and it appears in the book of Bamidbar that we just started, which the verb is la'or, which doesn't mean to give light, it means to curse. Okay, from the root aleph resh, as opposed to the root here. It's and Bilam, the prophet, uses that word, to curse. Now how could it be that in Hebrew the word for light is related to both, is seemingly related to both, to give light and to curse? Well, it's interesting because in Hebrew you actually have that it can mean this and its opposite. Now, but why? How does that relate to solar energy? Because when we use photovoltaic cells, which were invented by Bell Labs in 1953, so when we use these photovoltaic cells to harness the sun's energy, we are taking heavenly energy that's coming from the heavens, and we're translating it into physical energy, electricity. The sun's rays are emissaries of light, like angels sent here to provide light and energy to the earth. Solar panels bring heaven to earth, while burning fossil fuels pollute the earth and the heavens. Solar energy captures dynamic photons from the sun's rays that are traveling across the solar system at the speed of light. It converts that electricity similar to what plants have been doing for millions of years, and algae for billions of years. On the other hand, fossil fuels take dead plant matter that has been stagnant for hundreds of millions of years, between 200 million years and 500 million years, and we take the fossil fuels, coal, oil, or gas, and we combust it, and that produces pollutants that enter our atmosphere, causes local air pollution, causes climate change, and supports corrupt oil regimes. Not just in this neighborhood, but in Venezuela, in Russia, many countries in the world, oil corrupts. The Lubavitcher Rebbe said in 1981, during the blessing of the sun, every 28 years there's a Jewish ritual to bless the sun, or to bless God who created the sun. The Lubavitcher Rebbe said that there is a religious obligation to use solar energy, because God is providing this to us every day. We have enough energy from the sun to meet all of our needs many times over from just the area of Arizona alone. And we don't need to go deep into the earth to extract these things that should stay there. Sometimes people say to me, well, God placed fossil fuels in the earth, so it must be that we should use them. So I say to them, well, God also placed uranium in the earth. And do we have a religious obligation to develop and use nuclear weapons? Chas v'shalom. It is inconceivable that God also created fentanyl. Does God want people to have an opioid crisis? So solar, I'll finish by saying this. Solar energy also hints at soul, neshama. And there's something deeper with using solar energy than fossil fuels, because solar energy is fresh. It's delivered fresh. We like our food fresh. We should want our energy fresh. Whereas fossil fuels are old. They're stale. They've been sitting for hundreds of millions of years, and when we use them, we are releasing this dark matter instead of taking in the infinity that is coming from the sun. The sun is just a symbol of the infinity of God. So to conclude, Jerusalem is a spiritual center. My question this Yom Yerushalayim is, when will Jerusalem be powered by solar and wind energy? And when will the solar energy companies coming from Jerusalem bring this energy to the world and to the people who need it most? As Copenhagen goes 100% renewable in the near future, when will Jerusalem? And it's amazing that the Knesset and municipal schools have solar panels, and many homes have solar water heaters, but Higia Hazman, that every home should be powered 100%, every business. And so I want to give a blessing to my holy partner in Extinction Rebellion, rebelling against a potential extinction of us, of our and all species. And I bless us, and I bless all of us, that we should really wake up to this evolutionary moment and realize that God has given us everything we need. It's all here. The blessing is before us. And it just takes the will to tap into that and make that accessible for everyone in this land and everyone in Africa and the whole world. Amen.